Hello internet and welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions, the place where we curse the engineers for their damn meddling and thank the Yucha for their unrelenting quest in Xenomorph Extinction. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. What's going on guys? As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch as we fire up the power loader, try and calculate the odds of surviving versus the perfect organism, nanoseconds before we realise we're infected with a chest burster, and quietly ask the question, what if the Xenomorph Queen was real? Roll the clip. Forget about the dreadfully terrifying thought of the Xenomorphs being real, because in the grand infinity of space, all things are possible and no one can hear you scream. Science fiction gives us the affability to accept the likelihood of there being much more horrific things in the universe than just giant hurtling asteroids that can trigger an extinction event on our planet, the fictional culmination of which being the Xenomorph species and the even bleaker prospect of their Xenomorph Queen. Hey, if we're taking Alien vs Predator as canon, then there's already a frozen queen floating around somewhere in the Southern Ocean. Lucky us, eh? Before we jump into that though, you know the drill by now guys. If you're a fan of this video, the Alien franchise, Ellen Ripley, or just Life's Biggest Questions in general, then feel free to hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell so you can stay up to date with our latest and greatest uploads. If you'd like to get in touch with myself or the creative team here at LBQ, go ahead and take a peek at the info box down below. On with the show. Back in 1979, Ridley Scott delivered on perhaps the greatest science fiction horror film ever made, Alien, following the crew of the commercial space tug Nostromo, who stumbled upon a ravenous and otherwise unknown alien life form, the Xenomorph, a deadly and aggressive extraterrestrial species with the prime directive to rip and tear its way across the universe. We had chestbursters and facehuggers and Ellen Ripley saving the day in a spacesuit, but it wasn't until the 1986 blockbuster Aliens when the Xenomorph origin fleshed itself out and we were introduced to the biggest baddie of them all, the Xenomorph Queen. The Xenomorph's creation story is widely shrouded in mystery but has been alluded to on several occasions throughout the franchise, most recently in Alien Covenant, where the cyborg David insinuates his involvement in creating the first ever Xenomorph incubation egg. However, it still poses the question, what came first, the Xenomorph or the egg? Nevertheless, the Xenomorph is a complex, intelligent life form that has a myriad of biological functions to ensure its survival throughout the universe, commonly referred to as the perfect organism. If we were to draw a parallel to a similar Earth creature, albeit on a much smaller scale, it would be an ant or a bee colony. They utilize a hive and a subsequent caste system, although the Xenomorphs do it on a much bigger scale. Take the drone, which serves as the basis of any Xenomorph hive, the worker ant that's only role is to ensure the healthy condition of the hive. But still, remember, freaking terrifying. Next you have the warrior, the soldiers and the protectors of the hive, bigger and stronger than the drone, that protect the species at all costs. Which brings us to their most vital role in the Xenomorph lifespan, protecting the queen, the progenitor of the hive and their only means of survival. So much so that a queen can even force a warrior to evolve into a Praetorian, a highly advanced Xenomorph warrior and the queen's own personal guard. So what would happen if, say, that Xenomorph queen floating at the bottom of the Antarctic, the one we mentioned earlier, managed to crawl out of its frozen tomb and start popping out a few eggs? Well, if the queen was smart about things, which, let's face it, is incredibly likely, the Xenomorph has already demonstrated an acute intelligence, particularly the queen, who even managed to navigate a spaceship elevator in the events of Aliens, and if she could adapt to the barren climate of the South Pole, then she's already in the perfect spot to stage a covert Xenomorph invasion of Earth. The queen can self-propagate exponentially, laying eggs from her engorged ovipositor, and all she'd need is some human or mammalian hosts to receive a facehugger, and thus the hive can begin to expand, developing a strong basis of drones and warriors to secure the Antarctic shelf. Currently, there are anywhere between 2,000 and 200 people that reside on Antarctica between the summer and winter months, and if you see that through the eyes of a Xenomorph queen, that's a lot of drones and warriors. Say theoretically that a hive had developed successfully enough to defend itself before inevitably being discovered by one of the many research scientists in the area, then are we even equipped to combat such a growing hidden threat? Granted, we could just drop a nuke on it, but the fallout of atomically destroying one of Earth's 2 magnetic poles would literally be a death sentence for our species too. Xenomorphs also possess an exoskeleton that is pretty much impenetrable to everything but the most technically advanced human firearms, i.e. pulse rifles and stanchion launchers as laid out in the cinematic canon. Things would look pretty bleak, all while the new nation of Xenomorph Antarctica exponentially grew. Forget global warming, this would be the deadliest geographical threat ever posed to our planet.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
The United Nations would crumble under the mounting socio-political chaos. Resources would be stretched to breaking point, with key military and naval bases diverting all their efforts toward maintaining some semblance of a perimeter. It'd be the Cuban Missile Crisis on crack times a million, with an entire population praying that these damn aliens can't swim. There is one glimmer of hope though, because if the Xenomorphs are real, then of course the Yucha are real. If we could step up our democratic charm, invest our remaining billions into long distance space comms, and desperately pray that they pick up our calls or just, arrive a bit earlier for the annual decadely hunt, then we'd have the key makings to the perfect diplomatic galactic offering, an entire continent's worth of big game monster slaying. Because wherever there's an alien, there's a predator, and Xenomorph Antarctica would be the Super Bowl of Yucha hunting. Let the pros handle it. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Cheers for sticking around all the way to the end. If you were a fan of this video, please feel free to give us a huge thumbs up and make sure to ping that notification bell so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. To continue on with your questioning binge, feel free to hit that playlist floating shortly above. As per usual, I've been your host, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.